If you're heading to Kauai tomorrow and you could only choose 5 experiences that would stay with you long after the trip is over, which ones should you choose? Well, today I'm going to give you my top 5 experiences on the island of Kauai. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best. I'm Bryan Murphy, Hawaii destination expert and your personal guide to planning an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. Now, this list is not a popular list of things to do. This is really my list of experiences that I think really give you a feel for what is uniquely Kauai. Some are adventurous, some are cultural, and some are just simple and free. And I think one of these 5 could actually be one of those most meaningful things you do on your trip to Kauai. But first, a quick update because there have been quite a few people asking about the recovery efforts from the 2 Kona low storms. And right now we're looking at a third one. Doesn't seem like it's going to be as bad, but definitely keep an eye on that and prayers needed for sure, especially for those recovering on Kauai, Oahu for sure. But specifically, we're talking about Kauai. You want to check current conditions before you head out, really on any island, but especially on Kauai right now, especially for the North Shore or West Side. Haena still takes advanced planning. Polihale is still closed. These are due to the current detours, but those could change if you're visiting this summer, for example. Those could change or later this fall. Those will probably have. This is like right now, current news. If you are wanting to support on island or off island, I would highly recommend you to listen to episode 223. Actually, just the last episode I did with Star Dole Thurston, talking all about the Malama map and how you can get involved even if you're not in Hawaii right now, and how you can get involved if you're on the island of Oahu. I know she's expanding to the neighboring islands of Kauai, but I don't want to give too much away. After this episode, go listen to episode 223, link below. All right, let's go ahead and start with number 1 of the most memorable experiences that you can do on the island of Kauai, and it's super unique to Kauai, and that is a Nā Pali Coast helicopter tour or a boat tour. I had on my list to talk about helicopter tour, but there has, so sad, another helicopter crash recently. You've probably seen in the news. So seeing the Nā Pali Coast is incredible. And one of the best ways to do that, and one of the most incredible ways to do that, is through a helicopter tour. But a boat tour gives you those very similar views of the Nā Pali Coast. It's all about these incredible sea cliffs, the ridges, the waterfalls, the deep green valleys. The coastline of the Nā Pali Coast is something that you can't experience. You can't just, the hike is not doable for many people. And even with the hike, you don't get the same vantage point as you do through a helicopter tour or a boat tour. And the Nā Pali Coast, you've probably seen the stunning photos, but it is one of those once in a lifetime things that you can only do on the island of Kauai. Most tours for a helicopter do leave from Lihue. That's where you fly in. That's the airport there. And you can see parts of the islands that are near impossible that you can't see from the road. Yes, it's a splurge. Yes, it might be a little bit of a risk, so you need to weigh that. But I mean, there's so many helicopters that fly per day on the island of Kauai. And it is super sad when these accidents do happen. So if that is something that you want to scratch off your list, then the other option to see Nā Pali Coast is going to be a boat tour. And that is equally as good in its own way. All right, and number 2 is kind of another unique, different kind of venture, and that is mountain tubing. This is one of those experiences that feels so uniquely Kauai to me. So basically what mountain tubing, it takes you through this old plantation irrigation canals, and they're hand-dug tunnels from Kauai's sugar era. And somehow that history, which is long gone, has turned into one of the most fun outings on island, I would say, out of any of the islands. Basically, you're out in the island's interior, surrounded by all the green that is the garden aisle. You're floating through open canals, drifting into dark tunnel. Don't worry, they give you a headlamp lighting so you can see your way through it. It's cold. The water is cold, but it's fun. It's definitely unique. It's different. It's adventurous, but it's not too intense. So if you have an older family, I would say, 8 years old and up, it's definitely a family-friendly activity. And it's one of those things, once you get back home and you see those pictures and you're remembering the trip, this is definitely going to be on the top of that. And real quick, as I'm going through these top 5, I've also put together a free guide of another 15, so 20 activities to do on the island of Kauai that I feel are pretty unique to the island. And you can simply get that by going to the first link in the show notes below. And if you happen to be on your phone listening to this, you can head over to our social media and you can just send me a message by simply typing in 224 and I will send you this free PDF. Quick break from today's episode. Don't worry, this isn't a sponsored ad and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to say thank you for listening. If this podcast has been helpful for you at all, hitting follow on your podcast app is the best way to support it. It's free and it helps more people plan better Hawaii trips. Thanks again for listening, and let's get back to today's episode. All right, number 3, a traditional Kauai luau. The luau's on Kauai are just, I think, really some of the best. But let me just say this up front. I think it's super important to kind of preface this. I really think a luau can be one of the best evenings of your trip if you go into it with the right mindset. So if you think it's just going to be another dinner, it's another show, you might miss what makes it truly special and unique. Because for me, a good luau is a whole lot more than just the entertainment. It's story, it's song, mele, it's food, it's ceremony, it's hula, it's history being shared in a way that I think feels shared in a way that is uniquely vulnerable and something that you can actually feel. Typically, you start off with a lei greeting, any luau you go to. Then there's the imu celebration where the kalua pig is brought out from the underground oven, the imu. And I think even that moment slows you down a little bit and reminds you that what you're experiencing is rooted deeply in tradition. After that, you've got the meal, the music, and the performances. And hula especially is important here because hula, it isn't just a dance. It tells a story. It preserves memory. It carries meaning. And I think it's also worth saying that when we experience hula or any part of Hawaiian culture, our role as visitors is to receive it with humility and not rank it. I see so many, these are the best luau's you got to go to. And that is good and it's valid, but it's not on us as visitors to rank and judge culture. It's not my place to decide what's authentic enough, air quotes, or to grade someone's cultural expression. That's not my role. That's not why I'm here. I'm there to listen, to learn humbly, and to be grateful that it's being shared at all. Because right now, as we speak, Merry Monarch Festival is going on the Big Island in Hilo. And there are people who are judging performances right now of hula. And these are people who are well qualified Native Hawaiians who have studied the art and practice of hula. So on Kauai, 2 well-known options are Smith Garden Luau and Luau Kalamaku. They each have a different feel, but both can give you a uniquely memorable night that adds a deep cultural layer to your trip. And that's why I like recommending a luau, not because it's something you're supposed to do, but because if you show up with the right mindset, it can be one of the most grounding, memorable nights of your time in Hawaii. Number 4 on this short list is Wailua Falls. And this was actually my family's favorite easy stop last time we were on Kauai. We had only 4 days because we were hopping over to Oahu for 6 or 7 days. So I was looking for places that were easy, beautiful, and well worth the time for everyone. And this was exactly one of those stops for us. It was one of those quick stops that didn't take a huge chunk of time out of our day, and everybody really loved it. And it's free. Sometimes it's just just pulling up, stepping out, and realizing, wow, this is incredible. You get that same feeling at Waimea Canyon. This is one of those stops that's really great. If you can get there in the morning, even better. Early light can create rainbows in the midst of the waterfall. And if your itinerary is tight or you're traveling with kids or family, Wailua Falls is definitely one of those easy wins. And lastly, number 5, something super unique is taking a shelter dog on a field trip for the day. And this is really one of those most unique things you can do on Kauai. And to me, it's actually one of the most special things you can do. I don't know who gets more out of it. Taking the dog out for the day or the dog getting outside for the day is pretty cool. So the Kauai Humane Society has a program that lets you take a shelter dog out for the day. And if you pick up the dog, you spend time together, you go on a little adventure, maybe head to a dog-friendly beach or a trail, and then bring them back later in the day. It's genuinely meaningful for you, something unique. It's a break from kennel life for the dog. And I talk a lot about on this podcast about Malama, to care for, to give back. And this is one of those experiences that really, I think, speaks that. It really lives that out. If you're an animal lover, or if you just want one part of your trip to feel a little more heartfelt, and this is a beautiful way to spend part of your day on Kauai. So quick recap, my top 5 for things to do on Kauai would be Nā Pali Coast tour, either helicopter or boat, mountain tubing, a traditional Kauai luau. Link below is going to be some of my suggestions. Wailua Falls, and a shelter dog field trip. You got adventure, culture, scenery, and something meaningful. I think that's a really great mix for your trip to Kauai. And before I let you go, if you want 15 more things to do on Kauai that are worth your time, you can grab my free Kauai guide. It's free, super helpful, and it's in the first link in the show notes below. And if this episode helped you at all, I would just invite you to hit follow on your podcast app, be it Spotify or Apple Podcasts, so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of this episode. And until next time, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to Hawaii's Best. If you found today's episode helpful, make sure to hit follow on your podcast app so you don't miss future episodes. You can find all links and resources mentioned today in the show notes below. Hawaii's Best is produced by Shorebreak Media Group, edited by Easy Podcast Solutions, and with music by our friends Stick Figure.